evening on this fine Wednesday from Los Angeles, California. I am Chris Winn, and welcome to Winn's World Podcast Excellent. Tonight, man, is going to be a great night. And I always like to start off by saying this. We really don't talk about politics. We really don't talk about religion. Maybe touch on it a little bit, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about tattoos. Also, if you're an armchair warrior, please just stay in your armchair, man. You know what I mean? Just don't jump up and start typing all kinds of crazy stuff. This is for tattooers, for people who love tattoos, for people who want tattoos. These are old, what's up, Lefty? These are old stories from tattooers who've been tattooing over 20 years. And the reason I'm doing this whole thing about with tattooers that are over 20 years is because, and I've said this before, you know, if you were going to have a custom house built, would you get it built by somebody who had just got their contractor's license a couple of years ago? Or would you go to a seasoned veteran that had built thousands of homes? And that's what I'm trying to bring to the table right now. I'm trying to bring to the table the stigma that's, you know what I mean? That, you know, we've been around. We know what's good. We know what it's about. We know what's happening. And my guest tonight has just got on, and dude, this is going to be amazing. Big Frank, man. Big Frank has been a staple in tattooing for such a long time. He's been a staple in my life. Frank, what's up, brother? How are you?
Chris. Good.
How's it going, my friend?
Good.
Dude, you look good, man. I love those glasses.
Oh, thanks. These are my backups.
You didn't do a stupid thing like me and actually sit on your good ones, right?
Actually, I don't know where I left my good ones. They're somewhere out in the world.
Yeah?
I think I left them. I was walking a couple dogs, and I think I just left them somewhere. I took them off for some reason, and who knows?
Yeah, I get you, man. I get you.
Yeah.
When you get older, man, you just lose stuff. I lose stuff all the time, man.
And I always wonder where things end up. I was wondering that today. I was like thinking about this surfboard I had way back in the day, and I was like, whatever happened to that board? I don't ever remember selling it or giving it away. It's just not anywhere in my memory bank.
Yeah, man. I have the same problem. I got friends that are like, oh, do you remember giving me this? And I was like, oh, whoa, I've been looking for that thing for like 5 years, man. You know, it's weird.
Yeah. God, if I would have known like how popular, I would have hung on to every shirt I ever owned. I couldn't tell you how many piles of T-shirts I've just like thrown in a dumpster.
Oh, I know, dude.
Because they don't fit, and you know, I didn't think there would be a market for them.
Oh.
You know, 20 years, 30 years later.
My best, Frank, was I had a box full of flyers.
Oh.
Yeah. All punk rock shows, Fenders, Cuckoo's Nest, local shows, all that stuff.
I this one for regret. I had a string of backstage laminates from every show I ever did, like during the 80s.
Oh my God.
And when I moved, I left it. I didn't grab it for some reason, and it's just gone.
Oh my God.
It's such a bummer. Every time I think about it, it's just like, because I had like personal passes, like people had given me, and
oh yeah,
like I had a Ramones laminate, and they never gave their laminates away, and it's just oh well, what are you gonna do? You know?
You know what though, man? You know, I was talking with somebody the other day about this, and the craziest thing is that, and I know that you've lived through so much. Me as well. We still have all those memories, and we know what's up.
Yeah, luckily.
Yeah, totally. Right up until the point where we don't remember anything, right, Frank?
Right. Hopefully that doesn't happen anytime soon.
But my fondest memory of you, And this is many years ago. Many years ago, was walking into Zed's Records, and you were like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And I started browsing through some stuff, and you were like, "Oh, you looking for anything in particular?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm looking for the Damned." And you're like, "Oh, good one. Dude, this is the one you need." And sold me my first punk rock record.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Zed's
people
was.
Tell me those kind of stories, and it's like I don't remember being that outgoing. Like, but I guess I did.
You know what, man? It was crazy. That whole Zed's Records. If anybody doesn't know what Zed's Record was, Zed's Records was the place to buy punk rock, whatever, in Long Beach. It was a small store. Frank and Caton worked there. And if you don't know who Caton is, Caton's the singer for Hyrax and just an awesome dude. And you guys were always so helpful with all of us. And through the years, I've always talked about it. And and when you get with a punk rocker, they're all like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Long Beach." They're like, "Oh, Zed Records," and I was like, "Oh, Zed Records, yeah, for sure." And you were there for what? How long was that place open? You were there for a long time.
I was there for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I spent a good portion there.
Oh yeah. And then just seeing you at Fenders all the time. You were always at Fenders. Constantly. I was lucky.
Every show.
Yeah, man, I was lucky, man. Joe used to get me in the back door all the time because I had no money. You know what I mean?
Who's Joe?
Big Joe, Samoan Joe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you didn't argue with those guys.
No, man. Dude, every time that I see that fool, dude, he fucking gives me the... you know how big that fool is. Dude, he gives me the biggest hug, and he always tells me, he goes, "Man, you're one of the only 5 white boys I like."
Hopefully I'm one of the other 4.
I'm sure you are, man, because you were right there, man. You were always right there on the corner of the stage, man. Always.
Yeah.
I love the...
I remember those guys. Oh, man. I remember one night, Waddy said something to one of the Samoans, and I was like begging him not to kill him because he would have just blinked his eyes and that would have been it. That would have been over.
Yeah, they did. They had no idea who those guys really were.
No, they had no idea that they were like 6 inches from a machete swing to the head.
Totally. And dude, Fenders was such a dangerous place, man. I mean, it was a lot of fun, but man, it was a dangerous place as well.
It could be rough.
Oh yeah. And saw so many good shows there, man.
Yeah.
So many good shows. I remember when right after it burned down, me and do you remember Louis Mahoney? He was a skate punk from back in the day. It was a good buddy of mine, man. And Louis and I were drinking at the Blue, I think, or something like that, and we walked by. And man, I bloodied my fist trying to get the center speaker out of the window.
Oh, wow.
Man, I was just like punching it. Alls I got was a piece of charred glass that's like, you know what I mean, about this big. I still got it, dude. It came out the front window. It came out the front window of Fenders, man. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Yeah, totally. So let me ask you a question. Let's talk about a little bit about punk rock first, and then we're gonna get right into how you got into tattooing. So
okay.
When did you get into punk rock? Where were you from? How did that whole thing kind of move into place?
When I was real little, I was in San Gabriel Valley, like Roland Heights area, and I remember going through Puente Hills Mall. And there was a record store, I think it was called like Record Bar or something. And I walked by, and at this time I was listening to, Judas Priest, the Scorpions, all the metal bands of the day.
Right.
And those were kind of underground metal bands.
Oh, totally.
But like metal mainly.
Oh, totally.
And then I walked by this record store and I saw that first Ramones record cover, and I was just like, "What's that? What the hell is that?" You know, and I just bought it sight unseen. I just bought it because of what it looked like, and took it home. I was like, "Oh my God, I just found the Holy Grail."
Oh yeah.
And then I remember there was some time after that they played the Golden West Ballroom, which was, I think, in Norwalk or Orange County.
I think it was it was Golden West Ballroom was in Norwalk, right off of like I want to say like Rosecrans and something.
But get this, you know who opened for the Ramones at that show?
Who?
Van Halen.
What?
Van Halen was the opening band, and I missed them.
Oh my God! Wow.
It was pre first Van Halen album too.
Oh yeah, dude. I got to see them at a house party in Pasadena before they got signed.
Oh, you saw Van Halen?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I always missed them.
Yeah.
Like, they played some bar in Pomona all the time, and somehow I could get in there.
Yeah.
And, but I always missed them. Like, oh, yeah, they were here last week. Oh, yeah, they played a party at my friend's house. I'm like, damn it, I keep missing them.
Yeah, dude, I was like, I must have been, I think I was like 12 or 13, and I was hanging around with some dudes from Lakewood High School that were about 4 or 5 years older than me. They were in a band called Relayer. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And they were like, oh, hey, we're going to go to this house party in Pasadena, man. Do you want to come? And I was like, oh yeah, man. Let me, boom, it's a house party, man. Live band, 3 kegs. Woo! You know what I mean? I was like, I'm in,
Sure.
you know? And I was at 12 or 13, man, and I went out there, and dude, it was crazy. They had a drum riser already, man. Eddie was playing through 2 stacks, and they were just, it was nuts, man. It was nuts. I can't even remember what year that was. About a week and a half later, I saw Judas Priest at
Don't say the Starwood.
No. At the Golden Bear, not the Golden Bear, but what was that club that was on Cal State Long Beach? Remember they used to throw punk shows there too.
Oh, the one at Cal State?
Yeah, at Cal State Long Beach.
Like where the Bad Brains play?
Yeah, that's exactly the venue.
Yeah. I know where you're talking. It was just a hall.
Yeah, it was just a hall, and it was called something Golden or whatever, the Golden Room or something.
Yeah. So
yeah, but
probably the Golden Hall.
Yeah, totally. And I remember seeing Rob Halford ride his motorcycle out on stage that on that small ass stage. It was pretty good size, but I mean, it wasn't the Santa Monica Civic, man. You know what I mean, or whatever.
No.
But yeah,
I saw him at the Starwood.
Oh my God.
Hellbent for Leather tour.
Oh, dude, so good.
It was so good. And
dude, who just said Bogarts? Somebody just said Bogarts.
Oh yeah.
Skate 50.
I remember Bogarts.
Dude, Bogarts, man, my band played there so much.
It's a lot of good shows at Bogarts.
Oh my God, yeah. I got stabbed. I got stabbed by some Orange County guys at a.
I got my nose broken at Bogarts.
Yeah, dude, I got slashed in the pit at.
That's terrible.
Oh, it was TSOL. It was a TSOL show. Yeah.
Yeah, mine was Cadillac Tramps.
Oh God, yeah, dude. They always had a great crowd.
They had a great crowd. And I was like pissed off because I had just figured out that this, like, I knew, I'm not going to mention names, but I knew this girl I was dating was cheating on me, and I came to the proof right in my face.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the guy. All right. And I started having. Yeah, it just was a mess.
Oh my God, man. But those days were classic, especially in Long Beach, man, with TSOL, man, and dude, just that whole thing. Have you seen that that new I don't know if it's new or not, but I was just watching it on Netflix or on Amazon the other day, one of those things, man. It was all about the Orange County punk scene. Oh, it was all about the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and it was great. It was fucking great. And everybody was there.
It's not the old movie.
No, I don't think it's the old movie because Roach was in it, and God, man, everybody was.
And it's on
Joe,
Netflix?
yeah, I think it was on Netflix or maybe it was on YouTube. I'm not sure exactly, but Joe Escalante was on it. Man, Steve Soto, God rest his soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just like, dude, it was just killer, man. It was just such a good flick.
Yeah.
Because those days were rad, man, and you were a big part of that. And I just wanted, for all the punkers that you served up their first dose of punk rock, thank you, bro.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of guys, man, who they saved up all their change to come and slide that shit across the fucking the counter at Zed Records, man, and ran home, man, holding the holy grail they felt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was blown away when I actually got to work there because I loved the place before I ever worked there.
Oh yeah, man.
It was like, oh man, a record store that sells this kind of stuff. It's so cool.
And the best was the imagery. The imagery on all the albums, man. And that's what really drew me to kind of art.
Yeah.
Was like, when
Pusshead.
Yeah, Pusshead, man, was just out of control. And but that the flyers would just, you know what I mean? It was incredible.
Yeah.
The artwork that would on there, and then I started playing with the Lost Souls, man, and we used to tour around in Long Beach and playing everywhere. And Scully and Opie were doing all of our flyers, man, and we were hanging them all over the place. And oh man, it was just, dude, it was such a great time. Long Beach was at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, thank you for
getting back to what you were saying, though. We kind of got off topic, but so I saw the Ramones. The Ramones was probably my first exposure to punk rock before anybody.
Right.
But then there was a Tower Records in West Covina, and there was a girl who worked at this Tower Records who went to the Mask.
Ooh.
Like she was one of those OG LA punk rockers and she wouldn't tell me where it was.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get it anyway.
Right.
But she turned me on to that first Weirdos 7-inch. We've got the Neutron Bomb and Solitary on Danger House. I bought it at Tower Records. I bought that, the first X single, all the Danger House records. She had them. So I got them all from her. And then I remember seeing the Weirdos playing. We're going to play the Whiskey in the middle of the week, opening for some new wave band. And I went down there. I got a ride down there, and I got to see the Weirdos in their original form. It was so amazing. So the Ramones and the Weirdos were, my two entryways.
That's rad.
Yeah.
That's rad. Yeah, I just my whole thing was that I was hanging out with this super brainy kid named Russell Rempel, and his sister was dating the singer for Vicious Circle, and she had
Isn't that Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. She was dating Jack, and then God, what's her name? Kathy. Her name was Kathy, and oh my God, man, it was just that changed my life, man. Her stack of records changed my life.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. But, you know what I mean? I've always gravitated towards anything that's kind of obscure, and obscure people and things like that. Probably why I got into tattooing, because it was just a freak show, just like everything else in my life,
Yeah. It was just, we got to work on the fringes of things.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
more
totally.
Fun. Who wants to be in the mainstream?
Yeah, totally.
And I remember my wife the other day goes, "Do you ever wish you didn't have any tattoos?" And I was like, I thought about it for a minute. I'm like, no, I don't ever wish I never had tattoos.
Yeah, totally.
They got me where I am.
Yeah, totally, man. And speaking of tattoos,
I mean, they were part of it.
Well, that's one of the things that I love about tattooers, especially tattooers that have been tattooing as long as we have, is the fact that they tell our story.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you can look at your tattoos and you remember the chick you were banging at the time. You remember the band you were in, the apartment you were living in, or you know what I mean? All that stuff, man. And they're a literal roadmap. And a lot of people don't really understand that whole aspect of tattooing. They're like, oh, it's a cool image, man. You know what I mean? It's but when it really came from the sailors were like, oh yeah, I got this one in Singapore and I got this one in Hong Kong.
Cross the date line.
Yeah, totally. And it was literally their passport on their body.
Sure.
So I kind of feel the same way, man. I mean, I remember getting tattooed in the Sublime House and passing out and Opie stealing a fucking 40 out of my lap. You know what I mean? Dude, crazy, just, and every time I look at that tattoo, man, I think of the same thing. I was like, that fucker stole my 40. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And it's been 35 years or something, so.
That's wild.
Yeah, totally. But, so let's get into a little bit and talk about a little bit of how you got into tattooing.
Wow, that's interesting because I was working at Zed, and I was running shows. At this point, I'd made some bad decisions about running shows, so I kind of burned my bridges for a while.
Yeah,
I could still go to shows, but I couldn't work at them as much because I had done some. I don't know. I just made some bad decisions.
Cool. We all have, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's just part of life.
Totally.
And so the owner of Zed's basically read me the riot act, and she goes, I can't keep giving you more money. I know you've been here 10 years, but this is as much as you're ever going to make.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that doesn't give me
a
whole lot of hope for the future.
Totally.
So I start, I felt like I had to do something else, and I was getting a big tattoo from Bob Roberts.
Okay.
And the conversation just came up, and he's like, man, I just need someone to sit in here and do the small stuff so I can work on my big work. I'm like, I could do that. I could do small stuff. He's like, I bet you could. And I could actually get along with you, which was more important, I think, than my art ability. My art ability was minimal at best.
Right.
But, so yeah, Bob took me on at the right time. It was just the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What year was that?
91, 92. So I'm coming up on 30 years too.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah.
It's so crazy.
I know, man, because it's like even though it's been that long, man, I still feel that like that dumbass punk kid. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird.
Oh, I know. Especially like the last 20 years.
Yeah.
From 2000 to now.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's gone. It's just like a blink of the eye, and it's like, here we are.
Yeah. Well, and American Tattoos, man, just said, tattoos are magic, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
oh, I agree. The good ones are.
Yeah, man, and it really is. From like with myself speaking, you know what I mean, of touring with shitty bands in vans and touring on bigger stages and stuff like that and what have you, but to really get into the art of what we do now, tattooing, it kind of pales in comparison to the rest of the stuff that we did, because we've got to travel quite frequently, travel all over the world. We've got to tattoo people from everywhere. People are wearing our art on them, you know what I mean? And it's just an amazing feeling.
Yeah. I wish I would have taken more advantage of the traveling. I was the guy that would sit there and crunch the numbers in my head, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna have to work for like,
bro, you always
this long just to break even. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me when I can just stay home and do but when you think back,
Yeah, Rick used to always
Never
say. Yeah, Rick used to always say that to me. He's like, I don't know why you fucking kids travel like you do. You know what I mean? It's just, just sit in one place and the money will come to you.
He's right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best thing. Everyone always gets these illusions of grandeur, delusions of grandeur. About I'm going to do my own thing. And it never, is most of the time it's like you just should have stayed put.
Yeah. And I've always told every tattooer that I've come across, they're all like, what am I doing wrong? And I'm like, well, where you're at, where have you been at? And they're like, well, I was at this shop for like 3 or 4 months. And then I came over here and I went over here for 3 or 4 months. And, and then here. And then I'm like, I'm not even busy. And I'm like, oh, well, sit still for a fucking minute.
Yeah.
Let people find you. Yeah. Let people find you. You know what I mean? Which is cool. So,
yeah.
But I know that you've obviously been affected by this whole thing that we're going through right now. But where are you tattooing at as of these days?
Mainly out of Faith Tattoo in Santa Rosa.
Nice.
And then there's a couple shops in the Sacramento area because I spent over 10 years in the Sacramento area, so I built up quite a few contacts there. So there's a couple shops. There's one in Davis where I worked with George Hernandez.
Oh, nice.
Called Sacred Tiger.
Nice.
That's a nice place. And then the other place is in Roseville called Secret Kingdom. And yeah, it's all good. It's all.
Are you looking?
I can just work.
Yeah, are you looking forward to getting back? Are you looking forward to getting back to it? Because we're supposed to have a July 4th start date here in California.
Oh, wow, all the way to July. Wow, that's wild.
We're really lucky.
They're really taking it out on the tattooers, but I guess you can't really social distance if you're tattooing somebody.
Yeah,
unless you just tattoo their ankles.
Well, yeah, but we are probably a lot safer than the Walmart employee that's wiping it down with 409. You know what I mean, or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, anyways, so getting to work with Bob Roberts and getting taught by Bob Roberts, how long were you there?
3 years.
Nice.
I should have stayed longer. Everything hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah.
But at the time it didn't make sense to stay longer. It wasn't that I thought I'd learned everything and I was too smart. I just had reasons I had to go. And I mean, I don't think if I would have stayed in Hollywood much longer, I think I would have burned the whole town to the ground. Burn Hollywood Burn. That song was.
Oh yeah.
I was behind. I wanted that song. I was so over Hollywood. Driving back and forth from Long Beach to Hollywood for 3 years in horrible traffic.
Oh God. So bad.
I mean, that was way back then. It was horrible. I can't even imagine what it would be like now.
Oh, it's horrible. I was living in Long Beach and I was taking care of. You probably know this guy too if you saw him, man. My best friend, his name's Sicko, and
that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's a big, tall. He's about 6'4", bald-headed, just maniac. And
yeah,
well, if you're gonna run around with the name Sicko, you have to be a maniac, Anyways.
Yeah.
So we've been friends for like 30 years. He's my best friend. He's my, my kid's goddad and all that stuff. But we were talking about you the other day. But I was living in Long Beach. I was working up here in the Valley, and I was living with him on Palo Verde in Del Amo, and driving back and forth. And I was like, Jesus, man. The only saving grace was the nights that I had to work till midnight, and I would get no traffic on the way home, man. So it was kind of crazy,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyways, with knowing the traffic, LA kind of is just one of those places, man, that you just cannot kind of get away from unless you're just fed up and you got to go. So
yeah.
When did that happen for you?
When did I move away from Southern California?
Yeah, because you went up to SAC right after that, didn't you?
Yeah, that wasn't exactly my plan. My plan was to, at the time, Eddie Deutsch had just bought California Tattoo in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And I wanted to work in San Francisco. I thought I did anyway.
Didn't we all?
Yeah. That was the Mecca at one point.
Oh, it was, man.
I thought maybe by going through Eddie's shop in Sacramento, I'd make my way to San Francisco.
Yeah.
But everything's so cheap in Sacramento, you can't move away. They kind of trap you there.
Oh, totally.
It's like San Francisco's like 4 times as expensive
What up, Robert?
as everything here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
Robert.
Yeah, man. And I'll tell you, my cousin lives in Sac, and he almost got me to move up there a while ago, but I resisted the chance, and I'm kind of glad I did. And as far as like traveling, I was married for 23 years. I was living down in San Diego, owned 2 shops down there, and did all that stuff before I came back up here. So I pretty much had to stay put for a lot of those years. I was fortunate enough to get out and do a handful of conventions and stuff, and do some traveling, and been able to tattoo here and there. I'd been tattooing at Slave to the Needle since like 2000 for Aaron and Melissa. And then going up and working in San Francisco and pretty much a lot on the West Coast. But once my divorce was final, I kind of got onto the train and just started rolling. And it was so much fun. And I've met so many people, and so many great people. It's the one thing that I love about tattooing is there's so many great people.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I mean? And a lot of us, and a lot of us really take care of our own. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, they did me, man.
Oh, yeah.
When I got sick, I couldn't believe it. It was really humbling.
Well, man, dude, you're part of this thing, bro. You know what I mean? Whether you like it or not, dude. You know what I mean?
No. I totally appreciate it. And yeah.
You wouldn't believe, man, some of the comments that I got from people that are just DMing me and stuff like that, man, about you being on, man, and just being, just stoked.
Oh, cool.
Well, you've always,
stoked.
Yeah, dude, you've always had this kind of this thing, man, with yourself, man, where you've just done your own thing, man, which is so punk rock and so cool at the same time. You've got this style that was, that's just, it's different and it's funky and it's cool and it's sick and twisted and just dark. You know what I mean? And I love that shit.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's super fun. Have you been doing much painting or doing much art since we've been locked away?
Yeah, I've done a few. I did a couple commissions, and then
nice.
A couple others, and then I don't know. I did a couple flash sheets.
Cool.
So a little bit. Yeah, I'd say more than normal.
Cool. So let me ask you this. If, nothing to like kind of, let's just, some hypotheticals at this point, man. If you were able to work at one tattoo shop, what would it be?
Recently, I've said that I wish I could have. I always hear about these people that went and spent a couple weeks with Philip Liu in Switzerland.
Oh.
And got a sleeve done, and they just spent a couple weeks with Philip, and it, like Rubenthal or Eric Reith, these guys, they spent all this time with Philip, and it was it changed them forever.
Oh yeah. Well,
sorry if I'm moving the camera.
Oh, it's okay. No, I mean, seriously, that's one thing, man. And I know several people who have gone and gotten tattooed by him, and it will change you. And that's one of the things that's great about tattooing is that, the people in it will change you depending on who you run into. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's cool. If there was one place that you could travel to go tattoo, where would that be?
I've always wanted to go to Japan, and yeah, probably Japan. You know, and Europe's nice, and there's lots of places in Europe I wish I could see.
Yeah, totally.
But I don't know. I really like a lot of the Japanese culture. You know, the deities and
Oh yeah.
and the martial arts and everything. So
Yeah.
you know, I should see Japan before.
Japan is a magical place, man. It is.
Oh yeah, you have good connections over there.
Oh
that.
yeah, you ever want? Yeah, if you ever want to go, man, let's ride, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
dude. You know, Japan is a very magical place, and they're a very magical people, man. You know what I mean? And and you can tell by their art, and you can tell by their music, and you can tell. You know, you want to get, dude, Gizm's one of my favorite bands of all time.
Oh, mine too.
You know, the Clown. You know what I mean? A newer version. You know what I mean? Of dude, they're like Discharge on fucking Japanese Discharge. You know what I mean? They're just,
definitely.
Dude, they're out of control, man. You know what I mean? And then my buddy Euro plays in the Cracks. You know, which is a psychobilly band. And dude, when you go over there, man, the place is it's a trip, man, because like when you're into music, man, you know, you'll go down into, you know, like a little music venue, man, and the place is fucking packed. The place is fucking packed. It's full of shit, and it's just fucking packed, and all these people are just, if they're either bouncing off the walls if it's punk rock, or if it's jazz, they're just quiet as a mouse.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's the craziest thing, dude. Literally, man. Dude, you got anytime you want to go. Anytime you want to go. I would love to travel with you, man, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
We got plenty of places we could tattoo.
Yeah. I always wanted to go to Thailand too. I wanted to get one of those monk tattoos that make you bulletproof.
Is that what they're supposed to do? Is make you bulletproof?
Well, no, just one of them does that. I think they got all sorts of different meanings. But if it doesn't work, they just say, "Well, you didn't believe in it enough."
That's the beautiful thing about the Asian culture, man, is that they're either you believe it or you don't. If it doesn't work. The gods don't work if you don't fucking believe it. Totally. You know what I mean? Like, I just found some, dude, the other day I was going through some boxes of stuff, and I remember that I was there on New Year's Eve, and I was at the War Shrine, and I'd bought this arrow, and the arrow had the year of the sheep on it. I think it was the sheep, or the dog. It was the dog. And and you're supposed to, you buy these things and give a donation to the temple, right? And you buy these things and they're blessed. And then you go home and you hang them up over your doorway, and you're supposed to bring them back on the next year and put them in the fire. You know what I mean? And burn them. They basically burn them to get rid of any of the, you know, whatever. And I didn't even realize it had been in storage for 2 years. And dude, I was freaking out. I instantly went out in the driveway and set it on fire. I was like, oh God. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, dude, I just, you know, it's to be part of that culture, man, and to love that culture as much as most of us do, because a lot of us, you know, love the fact that tattooing really came from there, you know, at least what we do now, you know?
Sure.
So, but if you believe and you throw it in the universe, man, it quite possibly could be true or come true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
Yeah, totally, man.
It's interesting how similar to, like, really good traditional Japanese tattooing, how much it has in common with really traditional American tattooing, you know, like a good strong line,
oh yeah,
good solid black shading, and good bright colors. I mean, they know the formula that works, both of them.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that, like, I always loved about Japanese style, or, you know, Japanese style tattooing and Americana, is they were just big, bold, black color, gonna last. You know what I mean? You see these guys that are 80 years old, man, and you can still see Fudo on their back, or the Koi, or whatever, you know, whatever that their jam was at the time, you know. Same with the Sailors,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You can tell a pinup girl, you can tell a Sailor Jerry girl, you can, you know, it's
Battleship.
yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
You know, let me ask you a question, man. You know, I'm pretty sure you, as the rest of us, man, kind of work in the walk-in vein as well.
Sure.
How do you feel about the direction that tattooing is going in at this point?
Well, there's no use complaining. The genie's out of the bottle. He's not getting back in anytime soon.
No, no.
So, you know, I mean, you either can complain about it and not do it and go hungry, or you can do what you got to do to,
Oh yeah,
you know, stay afloat.
yeah, and a lot of it I don't mind. You know what I mean? At all. You know, as coming from Burt Grimm's and you know working in street shops most of my upbringing and what have you, it's not a big. It doesn't bother me, you know. But
I'm not a big fan of copying other people's tattoos, though.
yeah, that's definitely one of the things that I have a problem with. But you know,
Well, these days, though, it's like trying to explain to her why that name shouldn't be upside down. You know, It's like I just try to change it enough. You know,
right. I think we all do.
yeah.
I think we all do. So let me ask you a question. What's your what kind of machines do you use? What do you have in your collection? What are your favorites?
Well, my favorites. There's a local machine maker, Donnie Irish.
Okay.
He works out of Katati, and he's been making a lot of the machines I've been using lately.
Perfect.
I really love Juan Puente's machines. I love Aaron Kane's machines I just like looking at them.
Oh, yeah,
I wish I had enough money I could just collect them as art pieces, not even as machines.
Oh yeah.
But there's so
were
many
your
good machine makers
what were your
now.
what were your first machines?
My first machines I ever used were Bob's Paul Rogers. Bob let me use a pair of his Paul Rogers machines for
Wow.
quite a while, like quite a few months, and I was like, man, I'm going to get used to these, and then you're going to take them away from me. I already know it. So he tried to get me a Paul Rogers off of J.D. Crowe, and I used it, and the machine was like an iron, like it burned a hole in my finger. And I was like, I don't like this machine. I'm going to get a different machine. So, real smart, huh? Give him back a Paul Rogers.
Yeah, whatever it ran like.
Yeah, it didn't matter. I just should have hung on to it. But I used to have I had some really cool machines. I had one of those Bulldogs when Scott Sterling had just started remaking them.
Oh yeah.
And I had a really cool Paul Rogers copy that Pote. You remember Pote Sailor?
Oh yeah. I haven't heard that name.
Yeah, he made that for me.
Cool.
And I was like, well, I'm not going to get a real Paul Rogers at this point. So
yeah,
he made me one that didn't run like the Paul Rogers.
They never do.
They never do.
They never do.
But I don't know. But probably my I have a machine I got from Grime that's like a beautiful shader. Nice. He said it never worked right for him, but it works right for me when I use it. That machine's got magic in it.
That's what I mean, man. Is there's just a few machines, man, out there that when you put them in your hand, it's just. Whew.
Oh yeah, I don't even have to run them.
Yeah.
I did that one time. I was working with Corey Norris in Grass Valley, and for some reason, I had to work on this girl's back, and my shader wasn't working, or I don't know if I left it at home or something. So I used he had an Aaron Kane, like, prototype. Like, it wasn't even one of his main machines. It was just one. It was like a test runner or something. And that machine was so magical. Like, I just worked on this girl's back like almost the whole day, and it just felt like the machine, like I wasn't even having to push it. I was just having to guide it where I needed it to go, and it was just,
those are magical.
It was hard to go back to my old shader after I used that one.
Yeah, I had a Ryan Downey shader one time, man, and it was just this orange thing. I had traded a machine. I don't remember what I gave him, but I traded a machine with Adam Hawthorne for this Ryan Downey orange shader, and he goes, "Man, this thing doesn't work for nothing for me." And I swear to God, I used that thing for, oh God, the next year and a half, and I don't know what happened to it. Like your surfboard, bro, I have no idea what happened to it.
Oh, you just reminded me of another story.
Let's hear it.
I remember. I was friends with Elio Espana. I don't know if you remember him.
Yep.
And he was looking for some Jim Dandies. He goes, "I want some Colonel Todd built Jim Dandies." And remember, do you know Rude Rob?
Oh, yeah.
Punk rock Rude Rob.
Yeah, totally.
He just happened to have a pair, and he's like, "I need to sell these." I'm like, "I'll take them."
Right.
But I took them. I never even ran them myself. I just took these two Colonel Todd gems and just sold them right to Elio. Well, I never even ran them. It was so. I really wish I would have hung on to those.
Yeah. I got. I had a. I don't know how they got stolen. I don't know where I would have left them. I think what I did was I think that I left them in the back of a cab. But I had my first, so when I got my first two machines, when I did my apprenticeship with Rick, and then I went out and Catfish had just opened Realistic, so him and Todd were on the outs, and he had just. And the reason they were on the outs was because of the fact that he left and went down the street and opened up a tattoo shop and then ripped off his, whatever. But he had brand new prototypes of the Jim Dandies, and he gave me two of those.
Oh.
Yeah, but they were the big tall coil ones. They were the newer ones.
Okay.
And both those machines ran like a bat out of hell, man. They were so
For
good.
A lightweight machine.
Oh God, man, you know what I mean? And I didn't, for the first 3 years that I was tattooing, I lost my driver's license I had like 5 driving on a suspended license,
Wow.
And I did 3 months worth of time in Orange County at the farm. And then, over that. And he took my license for 3 years. And so I was riding in cabs a lot, and it was the middle of the night, you know what I mean? And I was coming back, and those first, because I did my year-long apprenticeship, and then I went straight out and I worked for Catfish and did another year working apprenticeship, and then got fired, and then went down and worked for Tilly Todd right after the Colonel passed. And she needed help down there, so I went down there, and somewhere I was living in 29 Palms, man. So I was just taking cabs to and from work because we had a baby at home, so my chick couldn't take me all the time. So I think I probably left him in the back of a cab and never saw him again. Gone.
Yeah, I lost. It was around my 10-year anniversary of tattooing. I lost a lot, basically everything.
Oh.
The shop got ripped off, and they took everything. They even took my photo album.
Yeah. Somebody got a job.
I guess they were going to try and start their own career.
Yeah, somebody got a job off that photo album, man.
Maybe.
Dude, I remember.
They just tweaked out and took those machines all apart and then didn't know what they had.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. But I can remember working in Long Beach, man. I remember working at American Beauty, or I think it was American Beauty, and this guy comes walking in looking for a job, dude, and he's got a portfolio full of Thomas Morgan's tattoos, and we're like, oh, these are Thomas Morgan's tattoos. Where'd you get these? You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, it'd be like a decent tattoo, and then it'd be a Thomas Morgan piece, and then it'd be, an okay, and then boom, dude. So that was always a bummer, man. That people were trying to, I would always, man, it never failed. Somebody would come in, they'd be all like, I'd like something like this, and I'd be all like, it's $150, and they're like, okay, and go sit back down, and the next thing I know, that picture would just be gone, and you can guarantee that it was down the street at a tattoo shop and somebody was tattooing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually I had a couple pieces that were in Tattoo Time way back in the day.
Oh wow!
And one of them was that Sid Vicious tattoo. I have a Sid Vicious tattoo that Bob did.
Oh, nice.
And I met a kid that had actually, it looked like he traced it right out of the book. Didn't do it to scale. Just traced it the size it was in the book, and then had like his buddy or something. I go, that's a cool tattoo. Where'd you get that idea? He's like, oh, that was my idea. I go, and I pulled up my sleeve. I go, yeah, it looks a lot like my idea. And he just was like frozen. That was weird.
Yeah, man. There's been all kinds of crazy ass stuff. Give me a good shitty tattoo story out of your past.
Oh God, a shitty tattoo story,
or a good one, or a happy one. Give me two. Give me a good one and give me a bad one.
Okay. Here's a good one. Let me think. Well, I'll just say that the story about the Sid Vicious tattoo.
Yeah.
There was another story when I was getting tattooed. I was working at Spotlight, and this Japanese kid, Bob used to get lots of, he was very popular in Japan.
Yeah.
And I had gotten a devil on my ankle from Dan Higgs,
right.
And it got published in a magazine. Well, this guy comes into the shop with the magazine of my tattoo and wants it on his leg. And I go, okay, you can have it, but you don't get the crown, because mine had a crown. I go, there can only be one crown. And he was like so confused, like why I wouldn't do the crown, but he did. He went along with it.
That's cool.
And he got my tattoo.
And
from me.
That's rad. That's rad that you got to tattoo your tattoo on somebody else.
Yeah, God, that tattoo, that was like, I remember when I got it from Dan, and Dan's like, I've never done this. I'm like, how could you never have done this tattoo? It's so cool.
Yeah.
And then after I got it and it was in the magazine, I couldn't tell you how many times I walked into shops and they go, hey, look, they're getting your tattoo. Like, I mean, at least three different occasions I walked into a shop and someone was doing my tattoo on somebody else.
That's so rad. That's so rad. I love that. So Thomas just reminded me that you used to work with Mosky.
Yeah.
Dude, and you worked for Charlie?
Yeah. That's when Eric worked for Charlie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was, I think about Eric all the time. I really miss. But I tell you, at the time, I didn't know why he wanted to work with me, because we really didn't have the same outlook on things.
Right.
Like, we were kind of, I don't know, just our political viewpoints would have been clashing at best.
Yeah.
And, but, I don't know. I really miss Eric a lot, and he was fun to work with, and he was maddening to work with.
I've heard,
but a little bit of both.
I never got to work with him, man, but I always heard Scully talking about him, man, and Thomas talking about him, and
yeah, he was. I remember him being really hard on Thomas. Like, he didn't make anything easy.
Well, man, and that's
Maybe that's good. But
it.
in retrospect, there was plenty of times where Bob, I swear to God, he was trying to drive me up. Like it was just like he's trying to see if he could just get me out of there.
Well, dude, seriously, man, Rick tried to break my back as often as better, and yeah, as often as possible, man. He wanted me to quit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert says Thomas probably deserved it, and Thomas says I'm better for it. Back to back comments right there. Yeah, it's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. But that was one of the things about like Mosky, and just hearing the stories about Mosky was the fact that he was just such a perfectionist at what he did. He took the craft so seriously, you know.
Yeah.
And that was I don't even think that a lot of cats at that time that he was, it was kind of that time where it started kind of lifting and started kind of building its momentum. And and dude, he like I remember seeing tattoos that he had done, and I was like, oh damn, you know what I mean? And here I am doing I'm doing Corey Miller dragons, and barbed wire around the arm and stuff, and doing all this stuff, and I'm looking at and I'm like, man, dude, it was so great to see what he was doing, and I'm like, oh, and he's making a living doing this, man, because. I after going from Rick's, where it was a traditional, Burt Grimm's was such a traditional shop, you know what I mean? And then I went to Catfish Carl, and he was like, oh, okay, now you're going to learn fine line black and gray, you know what I mean? And I was like, and I was like, okay, so this, I guess this is where I'm going, but it was just such a confusing time. But to see the shit that Mosky was doing was just so clean, so crisp, so perfect.
Yeah.
And and I think that he just as Thomas and I are the best of fucking friends, man. You know what I mean? We're brothers. I have Thomas's first tattoo on my back. You know what I mean? Like, that's how close we are. And we don't always see shit eye to eye. You know what I mean? But man, I'll tell you what, man, I'd take a bullet for that motherfucker all day long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and when I was in the hospital coming out of my coma, he was the first one I saw other than my wife.
Oh yeah.
So
Dude.
I know how Thomas takes care of his brothers.
I know he does, man. He's one of the best. I'm gonna have him on Monday, bro. I finally talked him into coming on. I was like, oh, dude, you have to come out from the cave, my friend.
Yeah. He does. He needs to come out.
Hey man, we got 2 minutes left. Do you want to jump off and jump back on for a minute, or
it's up to you?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that, man, because everybody's kind of chiming in. So let's just jump off and let's just jump right back on, and we'll continue this in just a second. Intermission, buddies. Come back with me and Big Frank. We'll see you in a minute.
All right.
Okay, buddy. Bye. Winn's World Podcast, excellent. Big Frank, Part 1. Okay, we're back. Now everybody needs to jump on back in. Thank you, everybody, man, for tuning in, man. I really appreciate it. There's Big Frank right there. We'll go ahead and get him. What's up, Jose? How are you? Wendy, what's going on? How are you, love? Jojo? Dude. Lefty? Dude, my people, man. Jojo. Dude, I love that JoJo guy. And Wendy, dude, Wendy Bezel's on now, man. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, I miss buying books off of her.
You know what? That was one of those things, man, that I used to always look forward to was Wendy walking into the shop, and she would walk in at the most odd times, you know what I mean? And it would just be all like, we'd be all tattooing, and we'd be all like, okay, wait, stop. Stop.
Yeah.
We got to go buy some books.
Yeah.
You know? And it's funny, man, because I go through my books, man, and every time I'm going through a book or whatever, man, all of a sudden a Bezel's book sticker will fall out. You know what I mean? And shit like that, and I'm all like, that's so good. Wendy, thank you for keeping us all informed.
Well-stocked.
Yeah, and keeping us well stocked, man. You're such a part of tattooing as well. I just, thank you so much, man, for what you do. We love you for sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get into that a little bit, man. How is your reference library at this point?
It's could be better.
Yeah.
It's good. I've got a good majority of the books I want. I liked it better when you could get a nice book for $100.
Yeah.
Now when it gets into the $300-$400 range, it just gets hard to for me.
Yeah. It's hard for everybody.
Having kids and dumping $300 for a book.
Yeah.
If you're smart, you're going to make it back, of course.
Of course.
But it's just hard to.
Of course.
There's books I wanted.
That was one of Wendy's best pitches. She's like, oh, look at this one. You're going to make it back.
It's true. I remember when Jack used to sell his Flash for 3 times as much as everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, yeah, and you're going to make it back the first time you do one of these. And he's true. It's very true. Just no one wanted to.
Yeah, totally. And that was the thing, man, is that you were always, whether it was a new tattoo machine, whether it was a book, whether it was, whatever, you could always justify it because it was for your trade.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And you need different hammers, you need different books, man, and you need different, this. People always think that this trade is easy, and the thing
maybe because we make it look easy.
Well, I mean, maybe that's it, but we've been trained to research and reference. I realize that the reason that so much stuff looks so similar is because everybody's using Pinterest and everybody's using freaking Google.
Right, the first 10 images in Google Images.
Oh, God, dude. You know what I mean? Like, dude, literally. And Lefty just said, I used to drive my wife crazy because she hated me buying machines and books. Dude, I slept on the couch numerous times because of that shit.
Sure.
But it was, it's definitely, it was, it's part of it, man. If you want to tattoo at the caliber that we've all wanted to tattoo in for so long, it takes money to make money, and you got to give it back, bro. You have to give it back.
You have to give it back.
You know what I mean?
You have to give it back, and you've got to to know where you came from to know where you're going.
Yeah, totally. Oh yeah, man, and that's one of the reasons, man, that I'm doing this stuff. Is because of the fact that I want people to hear our stories and know where they came from and know what time it is, know who we were when they're
Sure.
and that's just, dude, it just seemed like the right thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, man, but I've been in quarantine and I bought 2 tattoo machines. Well, one of them I have. The other one I just shipped off a bunch of money to that fella Mike Godfrey, because I've been dying to get one of his tattoo bangers for a while.
Sure.
So
that's good.
But giving it back and paying it forward is how we get it back, man. You know what I mean? I was always so thrilled to see the outpouring of love when you went through what you went through.
Yeah, I was too.
You know what I mean? And it was just amazing. And, and to see, what the outpouring of love that, Chris Stewart and his wife, you know what I mean? And Deb and stuff like that, Luke and I were talking the other night about starting some kind of fund, man, that we can start, pitching into that when people need help, they need help. I wish there was some kind of union and we could actually trust a union member. I think the only person that could start the union and we could trust would be Tim Hendricks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very possibly.
I think Tim Hendricks is the most trustable person, and you know what I mean. You just look at him and you just trust him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does. He does seem trustworthy.
Yeah, totally, man. One of the best guys in tattooing, man, and he gives so much, man. Or Sean Anderson. Yeah, there you go, Lefty. Sean Anderson would be a good one too.
Sean Anderson's definitely. I've always loved Sean.
Oh yeah. Back. Dude, I had him on a couple of weeks ago, and it was amazing, dude. It was amazing. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm talking to one of my tattoo heroes right now, man. You know what I mean? I was just, it's like, and it's been one of those things, man, while I've been doing this, it's like, we go through this time, and, we've known each other for probably, on and off, and facial recognition and different stuff for 30 fucking years.
Right. Crazy.
Totally crazy. You know what I mean? This is the first time we've sat down for an hour and had a discussion. And I was thinking about that today, and I was like, I was smoking a cigarette, and I was like, oh, when was the last time I really talked to Big Frank? I was like, man, dude, I suck. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I feel the same way, I mean, it's just like, you don't talk to somebody, and before you know it, 5 years has gone by, 10 years has gone by, it's just like... Yeah.
And that's been one of the greatest things about doing this whole thing, man, is that the people are getting to connect with other people, and they're getting to talk, and the banter that goes on between everybody as we're talking and interacting with all that stuff. It's just so cool. And this kid Q, the apprentice, you see him right there. This kid is the apprentice down at Masters Tattoo.
Okay.
And that kid is hungry for some information. Q, mad respect, dude. Mad respect for you and how much hunger you have for the dude. He's always on. I see him all the time, and he's always liking stuff, and you know what I mean. The kid's just hungry. He wants it super bad. He wants to know what that traditional shit is like. And coming from Masters Tattoo in San Diego, dude, that's what I mean. Like, that's an institution. Dude, that's an institution as long as it was there and dude, Godfrey, little Q. Dude, I love that fucking guy. But you know what I mean? Coming out of dude, really, I mean, Masters, Tiger Jimmy's.
Yeah.
Tattoo Land down there, Avalon. Dude, the history in San Diego is just insane.
Lucky's.
Yeah, Lucky's, man, of course, man. You know what I mean? Without a doubt.
I miss that place.
Oh, God, man. Yeah, man, I remember.
Dave, rest in peace.
Yeah, Dave, rest in peace,
and
man.
Debbie.
Oh, yeah. Man, it's good that they're together again.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Those two lived for one another, I'm telling you that.
Oh, yeah.
That was a tattoo love story right there, for sure, man.
Yeah, it was a real one. That was kind of like Lux and Ivy.
Yeah, yeah, totally, for sure, man, for sure. And we have lost so many giants in our business, man. You know what I mean? Especially, it really kind of hit me when Rick went, and then we lost Bill and Zeke and Don and it's just like, wow, man, I know I got to get on this. And Jeremy from Sullen had just been pushing me, and he's like, oh, dude, you need to do this. You just got to do this. You got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it. So that's why I'm doing it, man. And dude, I'm so glad that you agreed to to come on this thing with me, bro.
Oh, my pleasure.
Dude.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, man. And are you in Sac right now, or are you in Santa Rosa, right?
Santa Rosa, yeah.
Dude, I'm coming that way, bro.
All right.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I'll be here.
Yeah, dude, I'm coming that way, man. And I appreciate everything that you've done for tattooing and for all the
More
punk.
to come.
Huh?
More to come.
Oh, good, man. Just keep. That's the one thing that's crazy about us too, bro. Is that
The fire still burns.
Yeah, man. And the craziest thing about this whole thing that's going on is how many people are going to slip and just disappear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they had to go.
Oh, I know.
They had to go back to delivering documents or pizzas or working at Whole Foods. Because
Right.
But-
Because they couldn't have.
And I've always said this: if you haven't starved through 8 winters, you're not a real tattooer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know you have.
Oh, definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
But anyways, man, thank you so much for being on and sharing your stories. And let's do this again, man. I want to come up.
Okay.
And I'm going to make a road trip because this whole thing that I'm doing right now is just a part of the bigger picture, which I want to come and fully document it and do. I'm going to be going on the road and talking to all the tattooers that I've already talked to and just doing legitimate on film podcasts, man. And you're on the top of the list, bro.
Oh, thank you.
So we'll sit in a tattoo shop with a couple of microphones and some headphones, and we'll do this all proper like.
Do it all Mark Maron style.
Totally, bro. Well, thank you again, Frank, for being on. You're a big fan, man. I'm so much love and so much mad respect. And man, I just, dude, thank you for everything you've done, man. And I'm super glad you're healthy, bro, and you're happy right now.
I'm trying.
Dude, well, keep it up, man. We love some Big Frank, man. All right, dude.
Back at you.
We'll talk to you soon, brother. Peace and love.
All right.
All right, man. Cheers. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody, man. Thanks so much for being on tonight with Big Frank. Everybody's got such mad respect for that dude. It's amazing, man. And I have respect for all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining us every week. And dude, I just love you all, man. And dude, just be blessed and be safe. And, we're getting back into this soon, man. So just stay positive, stay healthy, and we'll see you again on Friday. By the way, man, Friday, Eddie Deutsch. Going to be a good one, man. So, and then I got a whole new lineup for next week, and you're going to be blown away. So, anyways, thank you. Dude, Winn's World Podcast, excellent. Thanks you. Chris Winn, thanks you. And I'll see you guys a little bit later, man. Have a blessed night. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette and pee because I got to do it bad. Peace and love. Bye.